Do you think you have time to dig into a whole pile of research to see if this idea might actually make sense? And by the way, I was wondering, why doesn't this exist already? Like, why when I Google mushrooms and cyclical living, do I not find anything? Well, it turns out not a lot of mushroom companies are owned by women, and therefore there's just not a lot of interest in this space. Welcome to the Eversio Experience podcast. I'm Brandi Garden, the co-founder of Eversio Wellness, and I'm here with my co-host, Desiree Caruso, who has a background in naturopathic medicine.
We're here to talk all about the world of mushroom wellness because mushrooms are critical to the maintenance of our physical well-being and our collective mental health.
We believe mushrooms are symbols of interconnectedness, and we're so excited to connect you with the health, wellness, and wisdom that they have brought us on our journey to this moment.
Our ancestors had deep cultural connections to mushrooms, but today they remain understudied, undervalued, and often misunderstood by much of modern society.
So we are here to change that. Eversio means change, and it's our mission to change lives through fungi.
There is a mushroom for every moment.
And we're so glad you're here to share this moment with us. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Eversio Experience podcast. I'm Brandi Garden. I am the co-founder at Eversio Wellness, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Desiree Caruso, ND, who is an expert on the health benefits of medicinal mushrooms. Today, our episode is all about cyclical living, and specifically our guide to using mushrooms as part of cyclical living. So if you're thinking, what the heck is cyclical living, Brandi? This is a way that you can align the way that you eat, the way that you move, the way that you rest, something we forget to do sometimes, and of course, the way that you supplement to be more in line with your menstrual cycle. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, some women are aligning this with the moon phases. That's me. Some people are just aligning this with seasons. So this is not gender specific. Cyclical living is not just for women. It can be something that is for anybody who wants to find a way to be more connected to nature, more connected to an approach to living that's in harmony with ourselves and nature, bringing us back into connection with the way likely people lived a long time ago when the seasons really dictated how they had to live because of the amount of light, the amount of heat, and things that are naturally going on around us. And why? Why is cyclical living coming back? Well, if you listened to our last episode, episode 3, often cyclical living is something people will start to bring into their life because they want hormone balance. And our hormones often being imbalanced is causing a lot of adverse effects for us, a lot of symptoms that are not wanted. And when we go to the doctor these days and we present with symptoms that probably are related to a hormone imbalance, we're often offered the birth control pill. We are offered hormone replacement therapy. We are offered things that are a pharmaceutical correction to this imbalance, when I think we could change our ways and have a first line defense being our lifestyle. Why are we out of balance? It could just be our lifestyle factors. It could be what we're eating. It could be the way that we're moving or not moving. It could be the way that we're sleeping or not sleeping. It could be the way that we are supplementing or not supplementing. So looking at our food, looking at our movement, looking at our sleep first, and seeing if that can help us to get rid of some of the symptoms that we are not happy with it's a beautiful thing to do. So I'm not saying no hormone replacement therapy. I'm not saying none of that. I'm saying maybe try this first. You will appreciate it. You will love it. And I think we can say that because we have done this. Mm-hmm. So at the root of cyclical living is this opportunity to create adaptability. And we all know many medicinal mushrooms are adaptogens. Mm-hmm. This adaptability allows us to really ebb and flow with life instead of against it. For sure, what I was doing for so many years in my 20s and 30s, I can look back and see how I was just fighting against that desire to slow down. Like my body knew I need to slow down, but if I slowed down, then I would not be being as efficient and effective as I expected myself to be going through university and being a mom and being a wife and then coming into business and this go, go, go all of the time, hustle and grind and earn your seat at the table is not natural. This is not the way we are meant to be. So when we do look at moving through the week moving through the month, moving through the year differently than just looking at the circadian rhythm of 24 hours, which is what we're taught. It's what men experience. Their hormones are cycling on a 24-hour cycle. I think, if I'm right, they're producing testosterone like every 15 minutes. We produce that once a month in 1 week or few days of our month. And we are living in this patriarchal society, not to be controversial. It's just the way it is. We are really living in a world that is built on a 24-hour cycle. And that circadian rhythm is just one biological rhythm. But what about the rest? So when we look at focusing on a larger biological rhythm, things like the seasons. So in winter, we feel very differently than we do in the spring. I mean, just think of the feeling you get when you say those words. Winter is cozy and we're inside more and we're a little slower. And spring is like, let's go. It's creativity and it's rebirth and it's being outside and it's fresh and new. And then summer, totally the social time for us. We all want to be out there and celebrating and socializing. And then autumn is that time of change. So when we look at those seasons almost being within us throughout the month, we can just offer a rhythm and an energy that is so much more connected to the way our ancestors would have lived. And the lunar cycle can also be used as a guide with this and ebb and flow. So we are going to go into how we see mushrooms being able to be part of a cyclical living lifestyle. But Des, we are very lucky to have a friend that came alongside us when we were starting to look at these protocols. So Desiree and I, a few months back, we were in the middle of 75 hard. So we were really focused on our movement. We were working out twice a day. We were focused on nutrition, being super clean as we were eating, prioritizing protein, doing all the right things. We were sleeping well. We were learning new things. We chose to incorporate mushrooms in that time. And we followed a protocol designed by Des. And we took all 9 of the Eversio wellness products throughout the month. So we were never taking more than 3 products on any given day, but we changed them up. Desiree connected to her menstrual cycle. For me, I follow the moon, so I was following the lunar cycle. We had really an incredible Eversio experience doing that. That got us so excited that we thought we got to try this on somebody else. And I'm going to let Desiree jump in and tell you the story of what happened when we introduced it to a friend of ours.
So we introduced it to a friend of ours who just felt hormonally very dysregulated. She didn't really have a natural or balanced menstrual cycle. She didn't know when she was going to have her bleed. She didn't know when she was going to stop her bleed. And, you know, we are going to share that in our document, so you can download that for the full story. But essentially, within a period of, 3 years, which is 1,000 days, she was bleeding for 50% of those days.
The collective gasp.
No, like seriously. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? So anyways, she came to us and she was really in a state of, I will try anything. This is somebody who is a true elite athlete, who is very dedicated. When you say, here's the plan and here's the protocol, she is somebody that is going to do it to its fullest and do it to her absolute best potential, just in everything that she does. And it's so admirable, right, to see that. So anyways, we essentially gave her that protocol, the cyclical living protocol, which we will share. And just after that first month of trying the protocol, like 1 month, we had no expectations. We thought, just try it. Like we already did an N of 2 study over here and it went great. But we're in different places, right, hormonally than she was. And so we thought, we hope this can help you, but we truthfully don't know how it's going to help. We had our suspicions, and based on the research and things and putting things together, essentially after that first month, she had a 6-day bleed. The month after that, a 5-day bleed. The month after that, a 5-day bleed. The 4th month in, she had a 5-day bleed. So she's had a regular menstrual cycle after having, bleeding for 50% of the days in a 3-year period. So amazing. Totally.
This is a happy woman.
Exceeded our expectations. And yeah, she just, you can sense the relief and you can see the relief in her, because so many women, I think, can relate to that, feeling like they are, at the mercy of their body.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so being more in tune. So it's truly was amazing to hear her testimonial and to hear her share her experience and sharing the Eversio experience that she had. And it brought tears to our eyes.
Yeah.
We were just so genuinely happy for her.
I love the phrase that she used. And like Desiree said, you can read the whole story if you download the document. But I love that she said, I haven't felt this energetically organized internally in years. And I thought, what a beautiful way to describe.
I love it.
Right? Energetically organized internally is hormone balance. This is regulation. This is what we all want. This is the big goal. And for sure, mushrooms are modulators, regulators, and so beautiful that they could do that for her. So I think that, yes, we look at one of the main goals of incorporating cyclical living into your life is to promote this hormone balance. And the balance shows up sometimes as regular periods. Sometimes it shows up as less severe PMS symptoms for women who are still experiencing their cycle. Sometimes it shows up as increased libido in perimenopausal, menopausal women or men. Sometimes it shows up in improved mood, men or women, in better sleep. And for sure, what I experienced most was more consistent energy. And I'm not a coffee drinker. I am known to have a matcha or two. I like my caffeine with some L-theanine and mushrooms on the side.
And green.
How many of you, are you 3 matcha deep today, Desiree?
Just 2.
Just 2. But that consistent energy, I think, is such a nice thing to experience when it has come on in a natural way, because your hormones are helping you with that instead of it being something that you are affecting by putting something in your body that might be the cause of the dysregulation of the hormones. Get too much caffeine. So I think when we thought about this, and I came to Desiree one day and I said, look, we are essentially living the cyclical living lifestyle because we are working out in a system where we are really changing the way we work out based on the phase of the moon or where Desiree was in her menstrual cycle. We're eating a little differently. We're definitely focusing on our sleep. We're definitely focusing on our rest, forcing ourselves to rest more, which is a big issue for me.
P.S. It's okay to rest.
It's okay to rest. You were meant to rest. It made sense that the mushrooms would fit in there, but when I went, I remember the day looking across at you. Desiree works about 3 feet away from me, but I said,
we share an office.
Do you think you have time to dig into a whole pile of research to see if this idea might actually make sense? And by the way, I was wondering, why doesn't this exist already? Like, why when I Google mushrooms and cyclical living, do I not find anything? Well, it turns out not a lot of mushroom companies are owned by women, and therefore there's just not a lot of interest in this space. So I love that we're starting from scratch and that we could play around and we have access to the products to do it. And I had to really teach myself about my own hormones and what I had experienced and how that affected me. And really what I learned is that our hormones are so intricately connected in this delicate system, and it's like a symphony. They work best when they're in balance with one another, and any imbalance, especially cortisol and insulin, go back to the previous episode and you'll hear all about mushrooms and those hormones. When we have an imbalance in cortisol and insulin, it disrupts the entire system. So the foundational hormones directly impact all of the others, and they need to be in balance first. And I'm talking about cortisol, insulin, and oxytocin, these foundational hormones. And when we have stability of these tier 3 hormones, it's because those tier 1 hormones have been looked after. And that's what mushrooms are so great at. They just know how to do that. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, strongly influenced by insulin. When insulin goes up, the sex hormones get thrown off. Insulin is an essential hormone produced by the pancreas. Its main role is to control glucose levels in our body. Insulin is strongly influenced by cortisol. When stress goes up, we become more insulin resistant. Above cortisol, we have oxytocin. For me, this is the best hormone on the planet. I love me some oxytocin. I'm getting it right now because I'm sitting in the room with 2 incredible women. And I think when we connect with other women, we're producing an oxytocin that is so underestimated. Like, we've got to connect, whether that is connecting with yourself, with others, or with nature. Produce that oxytocin, girls. You will love the feeling. When you get more oxytocin, you bring your cortisol down. magically. The only way to get oxytocin is through this connection to other people. When you bring your cortisol down, you become more insulin sensitive. And when you become more insulin sensitive, you can balance your sex hormones. So this is all connected, and mushrooms can support all of it. So Des, do you want to start us off describing what this cyclical living with mushrooms can look like in reality? Like, let's make it really simple for people so they know exactly where to start. We're not just going to help you know about it. We're going to help you know how to do it.
Yeah. So I'm going to break it down based on either the phase of your cycle, the week, right, in the month, or based on the lunar cycle. So we've essentially divided it into 4 different stages. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Week 1 is the first week of the month. It's also your menstrual phase. So if you are somebody who is bleeding, that's during your bleed. If you are somebody who is not bleeding, that is during the new moon of the lunar cycle.
We're in it right now. So depending on when this is released, while we're recording this, we are sitting here in new moon. So for me, this is where I am. I am in my, what I call week 1. And even though that's not the first week of the month, it's where the new moon falls. So that's my lunar cycle right now is new moon. I'm in it.
Absolutely. So each of these weeks and each of these phases, we have different functional mushroom products from our line. And there are reasons for why we chose them. And so, like Brandi said, we have 3 per phase. So week 1, right, it's in your menstrual cycle or it's the new moon. And it is the Rejuvenate set. So the 3 products in the Rejuvenate set, number 1 is Defend Now, which are turkey tail capsules. Number 2 is the 6 mushroom blend, also formerly known as the Rejuvenate blend, which is 6 mushrooms blended together. And then we have Chill Now, which are reishi capsules. So with each of the phases, we have intentions for the time of day as well. So with this one in particular, it's intended that turkey tail is taken in the morning, the 6 mushroom blend is taken in the afternoon, and the Chill Now or reishi capsules is taken in the evening. And there's a rhyme and a reason for why we chose that. So in our menstrual phase, right, we have lower levels of estrogen. Think of when you've, been in your menstrual phase before, where maybe you feel like you're almost getting sick, right? Maybe you have a little bit of a sore throat around that time. You kind of feel maybe a little flu-like. Maybe if you are somebody who has eczema or you have, histamine intolerance, this is when maybe a flare of that itchiness comes back. So taking that turkey tail is helping to support your immune system, because turkey tail has a wide variety and of research on immune system function and modulating the immune system. So in the morning, we're starting that in the menstrual phase because that's when we need that extra support for our immune system the most. Then in the afternoon, we're taking 6 mushroom blend because all of those functional mushrooms within there contain antioxidants. And it's like we think of the 6 mushroom blend as like this anti-aging or, pro-aging or healthy aging blend, the skin blend, things like that.
Bring us all the ergothioneine, baby.
Bring us all the ergothioneine. So within those functional mushrooms, those are sources of ergothioneine, which we can think of as the longevity vitamin, as coined in research, which is involved in metabolic health, but you're also supporting your skin health, because think about that. When you're in your menstrual phase, your skin is kind of like not as nice because of the drop in your hormones. So you're getting that piece, as well as you're supporting brain function with the antioxidant, as well as the ergothioneine added support. Then in the evening, like Brandi said, winter is a time when you want to go internal and be cozy. So we're supporting our sleep with reishi, because reishi has a wide variety of research to support sleep, improving the quality of sleep, decreasing the time it takes to fall asleep. So really maximizing the rest and recovery so that we can recover and feel more well rested, because oftentimes women in their menstrual phase, they feel more fatigued.
Well, because you've got to keep living life. It's not like we're going to take that week off of work or not be a parent or not complete assignments or whatever it is that you're doing. So this is like, to me, this is the permission slip phase. And Desiree talked about the lunar cycle being new moon. The menstrual cycle is your menstrual phase, so approximately days 1 to 6 of a cycle. But this is winter as a season. And this is, we call it like release, rest, and receive. So if you're thinking about this phase, you're thinking about winter, that time to go inward and rest and conserve energy. This is the time that it's very normal to feel reflective and to feel withdrawn, which has, I think, been given this negative connotation in society that if somebody is withdrawn, that's not a good thing. But that's absolutely what we should be doing. Think about bears hibernating in the winter and feeling more tired than usual because your body wants you to go to bed. Your body is talking to you all of the time and your cells are saying, get some rest. So this phase is all about slowing down, no matter your gender. It's perfect for chill evenings at home. This is when I'm journaling. This is reflection and just giving yourself permission to rest. And I know that it's hard to get proper rest when you're sick or if you have tummy trouble. So it's no wonder that turkey tail was so beneficial for us at this time. If you're taking turkey tail every day, I mean, I've been sick once in the last 4 years. So I love having turkey tail on board. And this is probably the time I was going to get sick. So it's so great to thinking of having it at that time. So for sure, the winter season needs some support. We need a strategy, knowing that this is what's in the pantry ahead of time, and you don't have to think a ton. In nutrition, this is when you're emphasizing your mineral-rich foods, high in fiber and antioxidants. It's a great time for fasting. Estrogen loves fasting, and this is a time that we're okay to do that. We are focusing on really low cardio, so avoiding excess cardio. We're doing light yoga. We're lifting light weights. For us, it's walking and stretching time in our workouts. And for those people that like to seed cycle, this is your freshly ground flax seeds, pumpkin seeds to increase your estrogen levels at this time. Okay, now what's going to happen next? We're going into phase 2.
Okay, so week 2, phase 2. So we're transitioning from the Rejuvenate set, and now we're introducing a new set, and that is the Awaken set. So that contains 3 mushroom blend, formerly known as the Awaken blend, Protect Now, which are chaga capsules, and then Focus Now, which are lion's mane capsules. And so this is during our follicular and ovulatory phases of the menstrual cycle. For the moon, it's also the waxing and the full moon, and it's, spring and summer, as Brandi mentioned. So the intention behind this is you take your 3 mushroom blend in the morning, Protect Now in the afternoon, Focus Now in the evening. And here's why.
It was so hard for me to give up taking my reishi in the evening.
It is. And
I wanted to rebel, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I didn't.
Well, and that's the thing too, when we were taking it, is that our experience was much different than Cassie, but we really realized, which products we really didn't want to give up. I mean, we take all of them anyways, but it was really helpful to understand, this one at this time is so supportive for me.
Okay, tell us why. Tell us why we had to give up the reishi at night.
Okay, so 3 mushroom blend in the morning. The reason why we chose this one for this particular phase and time of day, 3 mushroom blend contains cordyceps, lion's mane, and turkey tail. So you're still getting that turkey tail to support immune health as well as supporting gut health. Cordyceps for energy, right? So you're increasing your energy production because cordyceps increases the production of ATP, which is the energy currency of our cells. It improves exercise endurance. So, improving our tolerance and endurance and things like that to
and
really
our
fertility, right? So getting that cordyceps to help modulate our sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone as we're coming into that follicular phase where our hormone levels are increasing, and also preparing for the next phase, which is ovulation. So really helping with that phase. Lion's mane, you're getting that extra supportive brain health, piece there.
Such a great way to start the day.
Totally.
Physical performance and mental performance and daily immune support. I love that blend in my matcha in the morning.
Absolutely. It's something that it's so hard to go without. I really miss it. So then in the afternoon, it's Protect Now, which are chaga capsules. And the intention behind this is, during these phases, we have more energy. We're really in our doing phase. We're so productive. We're doing all the things. So this is where we're getting that inflammation support, right? Because chaga has, one of the highest ORAC values on the planet. It also helps to modulate inflammation, helps to modulate levels of TNF alpha, the betulinic acid helping from that immunomodulatory piece. So you're really helping, modulate the inflammation and really support your body through these periods of maybe high stress in the sense of oxidative stress,
or
as we're doing more.
Yeah, intensity workouts. This is when Desiree makes me lift the heavy weights. Or walk faster or work out for longer. And for me, somebody that has dealt with a lot of inflammation in my past, it's always in the back of my mind that as I start to do more, I will have more inflammation, and I don't want that. And CHOG is a game changer for that.
Totally.
It's my natural anti-inflammatory, and I love it.
So, and then in the evening is Focus Now capsules. So that's lion's mane. So this was really hard because normally I am somebody that I like to take lion's mane either in the morning. I mean, I'm getting it in the 3 mushroom blend because I'm taking it, but then I like to take it after lunch in the afternoon to help really hone in on, productivity in the afternoon. Like that is amazing for me. So this was really hard to try it in the evening. But the reason it was chosen for the evening is because when we're sleeping, our lymphatic system is, essentially clearing out the debris, right? And resetting, right? Our nervous system, right? Like we are cleaning our brain essentially. And so lion's mane can impact neurogenesis, right?
Absolutely.
Improving and increasing the amount of new nervous tissue. So having that before we go to sleep when our body is resting, it just felt like a good time to add that in based on the research of lion's mane.
Absolutely. And I think we forget that lion's mane is also recognized as an adaptogen. So its adaptogenic properties giving us that stress and anxiety relief, enhanced neuronal and cognitive health so that we could keep learning, because this is spring and summer.
Yeah.
So this in our body, this is that time of creativity and, when we have that confidence and those outgoing vibes of spring and summer that we think of, the brain is also primed to learn new things and to learn them faster in this phase. So it's good to have a game plan at this time. We're going to take action. We're going to try those new things, which is firing and wiring those neurons together, creating new neuronal connections and literally building our brain tissue. And we want to have lion's mane on board at that time. So I love that you're getting a bit in the morning and then we're really dosing up that lion's mane in the evening so we can just maximize the potential of these follicular and ovulatory phases. Or for me, like Desiree said, this was the waxing and full moon stage. Or if you're wanting to do this throughout the year, do this protocol through the spring and summer. I love these mushrooms through spring and summer. All right.
Absolutely. And another thing too is that in this follicular ovulatory phase, the cordyceps from the 3 mushroom blend is helping to support the libido, right? Improving the quality of oocytes, which are egg quality in women.
Pretty important around the ovulatory phase.
and then sperm quality in men, right? So there's that. Then in week 4, or also known as the luteal phase, now we transition into the balance set. And so the balance set contains Energize Now, which are cordyceps capsules in the morning, Everglow Now or Tremla capsules in the afternoon, and then the 4 mushroom blend, formerly known as the balance blend, which contains 4 mushrooms within there, and that's in the evening. So the reason we chose this Energize in the morning with that cordyceps, the luteal phase, typically is when we can maybe notice some changes where we're just not feeling good prior to our menstrual cycle. Totally. PMS, right? Maybe we're feeling like more fatigued. So you're really getting, a higher dose of that cordyceps in the morning, but also not only for energy, you're helping to modulate those levels of progesterone and estrogen, because as we know in our luteal phase, right, it's going to start transitioning to decrease for when we go into our menstrual phase and have our bleed. So instead of having, say, like a drop or, some sharp changes within those hormone levels, can we have a gradual decline or a gradual shift, right? So that maybe we're not experiencing some of these unwanted symptoms, right?
It's no coincidence that what you're talking about is a fall of the hormones, and this is fall, right? This is the season would be autumn.
Yeah.
And for sure, that fall, that drop, of course you're going to feel it. We should expect that we're going to feel a little bit different, and we should feel what it feels like to experience your hormones starting to drop a little bit.
Absolutely. So then there's the Everglow in the afternoon, those Tremla capsules. So Tremla has research to support brain health. So, we just went from taking a higher dose lion's mane in the evening in the previous phase with the Awaken set. So now you're taking Tremla and you are getting getting that extra support with respect to supporting your brain in the afternoon with tremolo, but you're also really supporting your skin in that time, right? Because in your luteal phase, maybe you're having changes, you feel dry, like your skin is dry. So the research on tremolo to support hydration, acting as hyaluronic acid, supporting collagen and elastin production for our skin, right? To help it feel youthful. And a lot of people will notice when they're adding in that tremolo, especially in this phase, they feel like they still have a glow.
Yeah,
right.
the beauty mushroom.
You know, when you're in your like follicular ovulatory phase and you're like, my skin looks great. Like I'm so photogenic. I want to take photos. And then you transition into luteal phase and you're like, I'm not going in front of a camera. Like, no, thank you. Right. You're still getting that added support there. And then in the evening, you're getting the 4 mushroom blend, which has reishi, right? So you're helping with similarly with the cordyceps in terms of that more stable transition into the menstrual phase where you're getting, you know, supporting the modulation of those sex hormones, but also sleep.
The
right? Mitigating
down.
Stress. And then you have maitake in there as well, right? So you're supporting that. And then you have shiitake in there as well and lion's mane. So you still are getting some lion's mane because it's in all of our extract blends to support sleep there.
Again, I was stubborn and I thought, I don't want to give up taking lion's mane capsules every night. But putting that 4 mushroom blend into my routine during this phase was such a beautiful new practice that I really learned to appreciate. Having a routine of forcing myself to stop in the evening. I loved building an elixir in the evening during this phase, and I would warm up a bit of almond milk and I would add my half teaspoon of the 4 mushroom blend in there. I'd put in a bit of cinnamon, a bit of vanilla. I add honey because I like things sweet, and just have this new kind of evening ritual forcing me to wind down.
I loved it too. I did the same, but I did it a little bit differently. I actually, in the evening, I had herbal ginger tea, or I would add it to peppermint tea.
Yeah.
Because I just really liked the herbal tea in the evening and putting in the balance blend. And I wasn't sure how I was going to like it because reishi is more astringent. So if you're sensitive to that earthy taste, you know, you're gonna notice it, especially with an herbal tea bag. But
I think noticing it. So this phase, this waning moon, luteal phase, autumn is really that reflect, evaluate, exhale phase, like cutting back on the busy schedule, asking yourself to slow down. Your estrogen levels are dropping off. Progesterone is flooding in. That's that calm that we can feel, calming on our mind, calming on our body, allowing that mind to slow down now, blood sugar levels to stabilize, energy levels are decreasing. And this leaves that brain wired for detail-oriented jobs. I want to nest at this time. Like I am cleaning out my junk drawer. I am cleaning out the pantry. I for sure am meal prepping and planning during this phase and really using that time to catch up and sort through and preparing for what's coming next. And it's going to be back to winter where we're really going back into that going inside. So that gives you all 9 products over the course of 4 weeks or 4 phases or however you're tracking that. I want to mention that if you're someone who's interested in fasting, any kind of fasting, a lot of us here at Eversio are doing intermittent fasting, that this luteal phase is not the time for fasting. And there's so much negative press around intermittent fasting for women a few years back as fasting started to become this really beneficial tool for so many chronic disease symptoms. And I think that the negativity came around because women were fasting like men, just doing it all of the time. And we need to cycle the fasting just like we would be cycling our workouts and our food and our mushrooms. So just a note that during the luteal phase, don't fast. Feed yourself. You're going to feel more hungry, and that's very natural. Like this is the time to get nature's carbs on board and those nutrient-dense comfort foods, those root veggies and things that are going to be helping you to get rid of excess estrogen and be giving you those vitamin B benefits to come back. So yes, this is your slow strength training, your Pilates, your bar, your yoga. And if you are seed cycling, this would be the time to bring in your sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. And those are going to help to produce progesterone for you. So any final thoughts on the luteal phase?
No, I think that's it. I think something that people are going to be really curious about is how long are these products going to last if they're going to be taking it and following this protocol. Can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, that's a great question. So think about back to the beginning. So when you were in that first phase, that new moon or that menstrual phase, and turkey tail capsules Defend Now being the first product that you're starting with, there are 60 capsules in that jar. And if you're taking one a day, and let's say the average amount of time during that phase for people is going to be about 6 days, you're going to use 6 of those capsules, meaning that you're going to come back to that the next month and use 6 more in the next month. And that jar would last you literally 10 months. 6 times 10 is 60. So some products are going to last you a substantial amount of time. Like, I know Desiree is not going to take 1 turkey tail capsule in the morning. She's going to take 2. So during that phase,
maybe more.
Yeah. Especially if you're around people who are sick, that's how we protect ourselves. That's how we defend. That's what we called the product Defend Now. So obviously if you're taking 2 turkey tail capsules during that 6-day phase, you're going to go through 12 capsules and that product would last you 5 months. Yeah. So when you're purchasing these sets to use as part of cyclical living, think about how long they're going to last you and that you are going to seal them up tight, store them properly so you don't want them exposed to oxygen, to light, to heat, and then knowing that you've made an investment that's going to be there the next month around to continue the cycle again. Because sometimes it can take 2-3 months to start to notice the benefits of cyclical living in. So the story that we told about our friend who's the athlete, she's a beautiful story because she had a lot of regulating to do with her hormones and she noticed the benefits right after that first month. That might not be the experience.
Absolutely.
For everyone.
Everybody is different. And so I will say that all of our products have 60 servings.
Yes.
Right? No matter whether you're taking an extract blend or you're taking the capsules, and there are 60 capsules. So there's 60 servings in all of the products, and just keeping in mind how much you're taking. With 1 serving, you're getting a therapeutic dose, right? So, and then everybody is different. Maybe you want to take a little bit more Defend or some of the products, or, it really depends on you. And then just factoring in, like it's a long period of time that they're going to last because of the therapeutic dosing, which is amazing.
It is. It's
like
really
months?
Great value.
So cool.
So we are going to share a link in the show notes of this episode where you can download a PDF copy of the document that can help you try out this protocol. And there's a discount code there for you too if you want to try some of these sets. They're available on our website. And we always like to end an episode with a favorite review from the week. So I will share this week about a mushroom that doesn't get enough love, and it is chaga. So this is from Nicolette, and her review was titled, "My Skin is Healing." And here's the review. She says, "I have spent my life with severely dry skin, no matter the climate, topical solution, or internal supplement. Rashes, itchy, tight skin, flaking were just facts. After taking this," so this is our chaga Protect Now capsules, "once a day," so she's just taking 1 capsule once a day, "over the past month and a half, I can feel the difference. My face is smoother. A rash I have had for months on my shoulders is clearing, and my once flaky hairline is almost flake-free."
Wow.
This was me with psoriasis, so that's a big win. She says, "I actually feel comfortable in my skin. If you have skin issues, I highly recommend trying this out." So that just really speaks to chaga's anti-inflammatory properties, and she's experiencing less inflammation in her skin. So thank you so much, Nicolette. We love the chaga for skin as well.
That's cool. Okay. Mine is from Evelyn, and this is for Defend Now Turkey Tail. It's short, simple, but it's a statement. She goes, "Excellent. My bloating is better and I have more energy."
Oh, turkey
amazing.
tail.
Like bloating and energy. Bye-bye. Amazing. Good.
Love it so much. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Eversio Experience podcast, and we can't wait to see you next time. We hope you learned something new here today. If anyone you know could benefit from what we shared in this episode, please share it with them. And if you're interested in adding mushroom wellness to your life, you can use code PODCAST15 to save 15% on your entire order at eversiowellness.com.
If you haven't yet left us a rating and review, subscribed to this podcast, or followed our social media accounts listed in the show notes, we would so appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with us. Until next time, be well.